So a little disclaimer, we're not sharing how to grow weed or promoting it. So we're just dispelling the myths.
You're listening to How to Hydroponic with Ryan and Tessa.
This is episode 2, and it's Mythbusters. So we are going to bust all the myths around hydroponics. And where all of these come from is you have two people, super passionate, people that grow in soil, and they think that the only way to grow is in soil. And then you have people that grow in hydroponics, and they think the only way to grow is hydroponically. And so there is a lot of stuff that comes from this, from very passionate people. And we want to kind of stomp or get rid of all of the noise and just kind of cut right to it.
Yes, and I think the biggest thing for us to focus on is, in order for us to achieve the goal of food being so abundant and so much healthier and practically free, the biggest thing is that everybody grows their own food. So the most important thing is that you're growing food. If you live in an environment where it is fantastic outside and you have great weather and you have great soil, you don't have to worry about frost or hail, you don't have to worry about bugs, you should be growing outside in soil. That's fantastic. However, if you're not in that environment, the best way to grow, if you're going to grow indoors especially, is going to be hydroponics. And the most important thing is to grow your own food, but certain ones certainly do better than others.
Yes. And so, again, depending on the environment will depend on what method you use. They are equal. As long as they're both good quality they're going to give you both healthy nutrients plants. And so going into that is a lot of people, is plants growing in water, they only will have water. They have no nutrients contents. And compared to plants grown in soil. So can you tell us, Ryan, is this true?
No, this isn't true. And so a big part of this is, at the fundamental level, when plants are absorbing nutrients, they're kind of absorbing it in its simplest form, whether it's in soil or it's in hydroponics. And as long as they're getting that simplest form of nutrients, and call it an ionic form, then they're getting the same nutrients regardless. The real problem relies around how much nutrients you're giving your plants. You can grow something in soil and give it no nutrients, and it ends up being very poor quality and not taste very good. And you can grow in soil with great quality nutrients and great soil, and it tastes fantastic. In the same sense, you can do that with hydroponics. And when they've done tests to determine which one has more or less nutrients, they found it's pretty much the exact same, and it's more down to how well you maintain your garden and the nutrients you're putting in the system.
As well, yeah. And a big thing to remember is hydroponics is the plant, you're not just using water. It's not like water, you're using water and then you're going to be adding all of the nutrients into it. So you are still feeding plants nutrients. But yes, and then that goes into, if you're adding stuff into the water, it's bad, it's synthetic, it's harmful. That kind of tends to be the narrative.
The next concern,
yes.
if you will. So you definitely can add synthetic nutrients, but that doesn't mean that's the only option or that all hydroponics is just synthetic nutrients.
Yes, there's actually there's a lot of options out there. So synthetic, it's man-made, it's laboratory. There is all natural nutrients. It's derived of salts and minerals, and it can't be called organic, and that's just because rocks don't live and breathe, therefore they're not organic. And you can also use organic nutrients. The biggest thing is, just because you're adding stuff into the water, it does not make it bad.
Yes, it's not like it makes it so that it's exposed with chemicals, it's unhealthy, it's GMO ridden, it's pesticide laden. No, it's actually incredibly natural, it's incredibly pure, it's very high quality food. When we get into nutrients, we'll go into a lot of detail on episode 7, but this is just kind of a quick overview of how it works and why it doesn't compromise the integrity or the healthiness of your plant.
The next one is hydroponics. It is super expensive. All it is going to drain your wallet with electricity bills.
So this largely came about because of the cannabis industry. Now, the cannabis industry did develop the hydroponics quite a bit. However, they gave it some, let's say, bad reputation throughout that process.
Yes. So a big thing is when cannabis was illegal and people were growing it, they would get caught based off of their electricity bills being so high for a household. And the key thing is it's per household. So for them, they were growing hundreds of plants, a warehouse worth of plants in a basement. And so they were having a warehouse of electricity funneling through one single house.
And you're probably not going to do that. So really, it cost on average, you would say, for a small garden that's going to really provide most of the fresh greens you're going to need, around $15 per month for your electricity. But the good news is you're going to be expecting to grow about $80 of produce. So not only does it not just drain your wallet with electricity, you're actually going to be saving a ton of money growing your own food. It more than pays for the cost of electricity.
Yeah, it's like 2 Starbucks.
Yeah, 2 Starbucks to get all the fresh greens that you want.
The next kind of myth or worry around hydroponics is because you're having water, it's going to create mold. There's going to be a lot of humidity in the air, and your place is going to be moldy.
Now, this again stemmed largely from the cannabis industry. So a big thing when you were growing cannabis illegally is that you had to control the smell. The way they would be doing this is sealing off the whole room and then running it through filters. And then when people would come back to these homes that were grow homes, they were just completely rotted out. They had mold problems, and people are starting to associate that with hydroponics.
So a little disclaimer, we're not sharing how to grow weed or promoting it. So we're just dispelling the myths. But yes, and so with that is because on small scale, you again are not having a warehouse of plants that you're trying to mask the smell. It's all going to be on small scale. So what actually happens is any humidity or any water that's going to escape the system, that's going to be through transpiration. And because you're not growing a lot of plants, not a lot of moisture is going to evaporate out. And with hydroponics, everything's enclosed. So if anything from the reservoir, the water is going to evaporate, hit the lid, it's going to condense, and then fall back into the system and just get recirculated.
Yes, so you don't have to worry about the mold problems. And then finally, another real common myth with hydroponics is because a lot of gardens that have been coming out, especially commercially, grow lettuce, that's all you can grow. And you know what? Maybe you don't just want to eat mountains of lettuce, so what good's a hydroponic garden?
Yes. And the thing is you can grow thousands of different varieties of plants from lettuce. You can grow any type of herbs, exotic herbs, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, all sorts of things. And a really cool thing is because you can control the environment, you actually can grow plants that you normally could not outdoors.
Yes, really the only limitation would be into the root vegetables, but there's even hydroponic systems out there that can grow root vegetables. However, it's not any bit true that you're limited to just growing lettuce, and that's what makes it such an amazing garden method.
Yes. So those are all of the myths around hydroponics, and we hope that we kind of dispelled. We hope we dispelled a lot for you. And again, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of confusion around it, and we hope we brought a little bit of clarity.
In the next episode, we're going to actually start to go into some of the fundamentals of hydroponic systems and the 5 things that all hydroponic systems have. From there, you're going to start to be able to understand what type of hydroponic system will suit you best.
So, if you liked this episode, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you have friends, tell them about us. You can help us grow so we can help you grow. If you want to learn more about the how-to of hydroponics, we have an amazing book. It's called Indoor Garden Hydroponics Secrets, and you can get it on our website at www.hopeinnovation.ca.